All right. This has to deal with the double slit experiment. Now, scientists say they don't understand how energy turns from a particle to a wave. Now, when it's being observed or not. Now, I'm going to use the example of ego and spirit. Now, when it's being observed or not. But this goes for all equations, not just the example that I'm using. Now, ego, spirit, spirit, and ego, ego, spirit, spirit. Now, time, moment, circumstances, environment, conditions, dimension. Now, why do some people ego change, but they spirit don't, or they spirit change and the ego don't, or both change, or neither under time, moment, circumstances, environment, and conditions when it's being observed or not being observed? So personality is there. Some people personality changes. Some people personality don't change around this group of people, or not this group of people. This go for all of creation. This ain't just the humans. This has to deal with animals, planets, everything. So you wonder if buildings and objects and everything changes when it's being observed or not, from a particle to a wave, or when it's that nature and that type of nature. Now, the thing that I'm about to say is this. So you get it. Ego change sometimes. The spirit don't. The spirit don't. The ego change. The ego change. The spirit don't. Spirit don't. Ego stays the same. Spirit, ego change. Spirit don't. Spirit changes, but ego don't. They both change or neither. You get how to mix and blend it under time, moment, circumstances, environment, and conditions. It automatically happens when it's being observed or not being observed. It's and put personality there. So now that's that in a nutshell almost. Now you think about from a particle to a wave, any movement, we take a microscope or an x-ray machine, any movement, non-movement, thought, non-thought, action, reaction, anything can transform it from a particle to a wave when it's being observed or not being observed. Another thing, scientists say that nothing exists unless it's being observed. Everything vibrates at its own frequency, I believe. And I say, and therefore it can observe itself. It doesn't need to be observed to exist. That goes for people, places, and things. Because if I leave this room and no one's in here observing it, doesn't mean everything disappears because it's not being observed. I don't believe that. I believe that it still exists because everything vibrates at its own individual frequency. And that's my thoughts on the double split experiment and the double slit experiment. Excuse me, double slit experiment. And remember, it goes for all examples, all equations, and you go beyond the double slit experiment, and you mix and blend it however you want, and use another example about it being observed or not being observed. So you get the point. Ego changing, spirit don't, spirit change, ego don't. Both of them change. They don't change when you're under these time, moment, circumstances, or in this environment under these conditions, observed or not being observed. Observing self, observing others, whatever. That's double slit experiment in a nutshell. And I know they talking about electrons and light doing the same thing. It's energy. Everything is energy. Yeah, that's that.